welcome back. We are doing our weekly check-in for for the second week, and it's going to be from the week of Monday, April 6th through Friday, April 10th. If this is your first video watching for my weekly check-in, I don't track anything Saturday or Sunday because even if I did, those transactions don't post till that following Monday or Tuesday. So I track from Monday through Friday everything that happens that goes on as far as like my account. Now, I'm telling you guys ahead of time, this was a really bad spending week. We did a lot of eating out, and it was mainly we were out and about most of the time, going from appointment to appointment. I ended up having like the kids were sick and we couldn't go out. I was not doing so good, so I couldn't really go out, and it's just a bad week. So please don't judge when you see my variable spending, because I can tell you right now, it was a lot. And I want to like kick myself in the butt for doing all that spending, particularly in the eating out category. But I mean, it was a horrible week. Like, I had a lot going on with the kids this week and myself above all of the things with them. Like, I literally had a lot to deal with on my own. That this is just, it was just like, it was just a bad spending week, you guys. I'm just going to leave it at that. It is what it is. I can't turn back time. I can't make different choices. So we're just going to go with it and go ahead and go into our transaction log, where we are going to be writing in our transactions, and we have quite a bit of them. So like I said, let's just keep it rolling. I'll try to give details about some of them. I mean, bills came out, of course, and monthly subscriptions, and we did some like holiday spending because of Easter, and then like just things here and there. And then for my pets also, so it's just like a lot. But I guess without further ado, let's get started. So for the 6th, these aren't, I mean, these all didn't necessarily come out on the 6th, but that's when they posted to my account, because you'll see some holiday spending that we did for Easter that happened during the weekend. But as I said, they don't come out till from my account like till Monday, Tuesday. So that's when I take account for them. So we have, I'm telling you right now, all of these will be from the 6th. So first off, we had variable spending. I'm just gonna write eating out. And $459.71. And then we had let me see. I'm gonna put variable spending for this one. It was Amazon, but this was for some supplements. Because so I get, my son takes melatonin, just a 1 milligram one, but I get them from Amazon, and I ended up getting 2 this time because I don't like to run out because he does have a hard time falling asleep. So I ended up getting that. And then I also had business. This was for the business, and it was an Amazon transaction, and that was for $30.15. And then I had a variable spending. This was groceries, and that was for $54.06. And then variable spending again, eating out, and that was for $67.36. And then we had some holidays spending. Just gonna write Easter. And the first one was for 49.06. This was Target. And then on the 6th as well, I'm just going to continue here. We had holidays twice. And one was Walgreens, Dollar Tree, and the Walgreens was $10.52 and Dollar Tree was $23.98, and these were both for Easter. Okay, so yes, and then we're gonna move on to for 7, and we did gaming, and this was Apple for $6.99. And then I also had so variable spending, but this is for Sunday Funday movie. We purchased a movie on an app that we use that's called My Movies Anywhere. That was for $19.99. We got the Avatar Ash and Fire one. If you haven't seen it, oh my god, it's so good. It's very long, but it's so good. And then we had bills. And this was for the monthly sub. And this was for my YouTube subscription. And that's $18.99. And then this was not budgeted for. Because I had a lot of, we just had a lot of eating out. I ended up doing the Dash Pass for this month. Of course, we won't need it the whole month. Sorry if you hear that scratching. That's my doggy trying to come in my room. But that was $9.99. And then we have variable spending 3 times and eating out. And the first one is for 80, 27, 53, 47, and 29.40. And then I had a pets transaction, Amazon. And I'm just gonna write puppies. And that's for 41.13. That is it for the 7th. And then we have for 8. And we have variable spending. This is my gas. And that's for $90. And then variable spending for $36.26. And then we have business for Etsy, $50. Then we have debt for $100. And then we have variable spending, groceries One was for 54.42, 13.05, and 25.15. And then last but not least, we had another pets charge for PetSmart. And this is also puppies. And that was for 16.09. And the only reason why I'm tracking like what I've spent for the puppies is because if we do end up like selling them, we're not selling them for a lot, but because we're like considering it, I want to see if we're like if I'm able to make that money back, I guess. And then anything that covers what I've spent on them, then we'll, I guess, like I'll just have to figure where that will go. And then we have on 4/9. This is probably the most spending we will have for the month for this week. The majority of my bills and things come out like the first 2 weeks. So this is the second week. So, and of course, a lot of it's like variable spending. Not all for eating out, but some of it's like for gas and like Sunday fun day and things like that. But, and because of the holidays, so this is probably the week that, I'll probably have some of that going on. So then we have variable spending, eating out again. Don't judge me, you guys. This is being very vulnerable with you guys right now. And then we have pets. We got Tigress shots, like her last shots as a puppy. Like she got her rabies shot and she's done. So that was actually $71. I had budgeted 105 because the clinic where I take them, they told me that it was going to be 105, and when we went, it was only $71. So I don't know why, like why their first like estimate was so high, I guess. And then we have kids haircuts. I did end up taking my boys to a new place. It was actually a barber shop, and I really did like it. And I ended up having 2 charges, but it was $65 because, so I took my kids the first day. If you guys have seen my videos, one of my oldest son has mild autism. And so he got through about half the haircut. He was like, I can't handle it anymore. So he went unfinished. And I was fine with it. He was fine with it. But the next day he said he was ready to go back so they could finish the haircut. So I reached out to the guy who helped us out, which he was so cool about it. And so we ended up paying like, he was only charging me like $5 more. So I sent him 15 more. And so I ended up paying a total of $65, which I was totally fine with it. I mean, it was on us that he couldn't finish it, so I'm okay. And then we have another pets, and that was Amazon formula. So again, I'm going to write puppies here. And that was for $71.24. So I did end up having to get puppy formula because their mom, she won't feed them anymore. Like she physically can't, like it's too much. Like, and so instead of going through the stress of like, I don't know, like forcing her when she literally looks like she's wasting away, I couldn't do it. So I was like, the puppies are able to eat on their own. And so now what I'm doing is I mix the formula with puppy like wet food. I blend it, and they've been doing really good. So shout out to them. And then we have another variable spending, and that was for $35.07. And then the last one was groceries. I don't know why it looks like this pen is giving out on me. I am on the search for a different kind of pen, so if y'all know I need good pens, let me know. So that was 118.57, and those let me see. Yeah. Okay, so these were all for 9. Let me try to switch to another pen. Maybe this one will work better. And so we're going to move on to the next page. And this one, so 410, luckily only has 3 transactions. Took it down a notch. So then we had bills. Yeah, I think that pen is just giving out because this one's writing super great. So we've got Spotify, and that was for I didn't do my line here. Let me just quickly do this line right here. I think it helps to have it. Okay. And so that charge was for $12.99. And then we also had groceries. And that was for $88.48. And then last but not least was my second half of rent. And that was for $1,150. And that is it, you guys. So now I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this next part, because I'm gonna do the highlighting portion of it, and so we could get all of these done. So let's go ahead and start with the variable spending. So let's go ahead and write that in. And then that was 908.36. And so now we're going to go ahead and do our business. So I have one. Let me just highlight, I guess. 2. I think that's it for business. And so we have 30.15 plus 50. So it's 80.15. I really need to fix my so 80.15 for business. All right, and then let's go ahead and do bills. Okay, so we have bills, my debt's considered a bill, and then we have these two right here. Okay, so then let's see. So we have $12.99 plus the 1,150 plus 100 plus $9.99 plus $18.99. That brings our total to $1,291.97. And that is a lot, you guys. That is a lot. Okay, let's let me go ahead and do holidays. So we have one here. So we have 4906. And then we have, oops, 4906 plus 1052 plus 2398. And that's it for my holiday. So that was 83.56. All right. Okay, and then we have, I'm gonna do my kids. And then we have, didn't spend anything for car or a month ahead. And pets is my other big one right now, I guess. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's see my total for pets. 4113 plus 1609, 71, and 7124. That is, let's see, 199.46. Okay, and then the only other transaction that I have is this gaming one, which is my low priority. So $6.99 for my low priority. All right. And so that's how much we spent this week. You know, I thought this week but this was only 3 days, was going to be the highest, but no, I think this week is the highest. That is a lot of money. That's a lot, you guys. I hope you can see that. And I mean, I want to thank the majority of it. I mean, it's obviously bills, but my variable spending it was $900 for 1 week, which is insane. That is insane. But let's go ahead and put on our sticker for our weekly check-in for the following week. We're just gonna go ahead and put this down. I really dislike the cutting of, like the nipping the sides, but I haven't been able to do it any other way, so here we are. This is going to be week 3. Right. And as usual, we're gonna go ahead and just put in our categories. Maybe I'll just do a short for that, guys, but that definitely brings us to the end of this video, guys. I definitely did some major damage this week. And like I said, I could kick myself for it. But it is what it is. I definitely don't want to see that number again in my variable spending. That is way too much. Even though it has more than just eating out, I personally know at least half of that is eaten out, and that's still way too much for 1 week. So yeah, all right, guys, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys didn't yell at me too much. And I will go ahead and catch you on my next one. Bye, you guys.